I ran my best 50-mile split ever, but for the race at least on this course, and then my stomach started to run away from me after I left shortcut, and I just was like really serious about just finishing, being more important than going for a win. And obviously Ruperta ran an amazing last 25, and I wasn't really ready to run a 5:06 last 25. I didn't quite have that training to do that, but I made the most of it, and I was really glad that everything worked out safely, and I got to finish with her. It was like the most important thing the whole day. And every time I was like running harder or whatever, it's just because I wanted to get to her sooner. I mean, if I got to her sooner and I won, that's awesome. But I didn't want to trip and go over an edge. Like I raced, Jerry when he won one year, and he was coming down on me into leaving Isle running down, and I flew off the trail. And got all banged up and scraped up, and I didn't want to risk anything like that. So I was just really in control all day, like no significant risk, just like very controlled and focused. And I felt mostly happy for the day. Like I didn't feel like any overwhelming dread or fear of different parts of the course. So it's like very, very solid all day. I promised my wife that she gets to run next year, and I'll support her. And
that's on the record.
No, it's on the record. Even though she can't hear me right now, I promised her. She definitely made a lot of sacrifices this year, staying at home, taking care of her baby so I could train and work. And I definitely have a debt to pay her over the fall and the winter. And next year I'm going to try my best to help her run more and get back into running. I mean, the thing I really believe is that every time you leave an aid station under the cutoff, like that's a victory. And so just think of that every time, that you're struggling and stuff. And sometimes you want to stay in an aid station for like an hour, because you want like mercy, but it's not a victory until you leave the aid station. And that's like, all day I tried to stay in aids for less than 10 minutes or less than 5 minutes, and I had some trouble at Red Box. I had to eat more, and I threw up a lot at Chantry, but I still was like, I'm not gonna feel sorry for myself. I'm gonna just keep driving through and taking what I need. And I'm like 7 years now here. It's like I kind of know every little nook and cranny. I know myself. I know it works. I know it doesn't work. And that's like what we train for, is to learn what works and doesn't work in training, and to push yourself to your limits. And then when the race comes, it's harder than anything you've ever done in training, but you use that thought process, that decision process every time you have a problem. You decide, okay, like my stomach ran away from me today, and I'd eat like these like nut butter Cliff Bars, and that'd slow my stomach down and keep me satisfied. So just like being logical is more important than it's definitely going to get emotional, but be logical as much as you can, and don't let yourself get into deep holes. So.